The Citadel Trembles throne room erupted with movement the moment Jack and Mara stepped onto the dais. The Citadel itself groaned, a low, resonant hum echoing through its walls, as if the entire fortress were alive and aware of their intrusion. The obsidian pillars cracked and shifted, shadows seeping from the fissures like smoke from broken glass. Above, the ceiling dissolved into a vortex of swirling darkness. Streaked with flashes of molten gold, the remnants of erased names bleeding back into reality. At the center stood the Eraser, golden mask gleaming like a second sun amidst the void. Black tendrils writhed around them, moving with calculated precision, each lash carrying the weight of countless lives unmade. The air was heavy with power, suffocating in its intensity. Every breath tasting of iron and static. You still walk forward. The Eraser's voice cut through the chamber like a blade, each word sharp, reverberating. You stand where no mortal has stood and lived. You think you can hold back the tide of erasure, that you can rewrite inevitability. Jack tightened his grip on the fragment, its silver glow pulsing in harmony with his heartbeat. "We're not rewriting anything," he said, voice steady despite the storm within. "We're restoring what should never have been taken." The Eraser raised a single hand. The room obeyed. Shadows surged forward like a living sea, spikes erupting from the floor, tendrils slicing through the air with lethal grace. Mara's cane met the first wave with a crack of blue light, arcs of energy lashing outward, carving a protective dome around her and Jack. Promithei's voice resonated from the shard, calm yet commanding. "Remember, the darkness is memory twisted, not destroyed. Strike not with hatred, but with truth." Jack lunged forward, silver blade flashing. Each swing of the fragment cleaved through tendrils, and for an instant, every strike revealed a flickering memory. A child laughing by a river, a city bathed in sunlight, a hand reaching out for another. These memories vanished as quickly as they appeared, but Jack felt their warmth, their humanity. He struck harder, not out of anger, but out of a fierce determination to protect them. The Eraser's golden mask tilted, a gesture that could have been amusement or curiosity. "You carry their weight well. But you will break." The days shuddered violently, splitting into shifting platforms that rose and fell like pieces of a giant puzzle. Mara leapt gracefully across a widening gap, her cane channeling luminous energy that formed glowing bridges of light. Jack followed, the fragment blazing, carving a path through shadows that threatened to sever their footing all around them. The Citadel trembled, walls peeling back to reveal a night sky streaked with golden veins. The sky itself seeming alive. The passage was bleeding through, its threads straining against the force of erasure. The battle was no longer confined to this chamber. It rippled through realms, a clash of existence against oblivion. "Jack, there." Mara's voice cut through the chaos, pointing to the base of the days. A glowing core pulsed there, black and gold threads intertwined in a knot of pure energy. The Eraser's anchor, the heart of the Citadel. Jack landed on a floating platform, fragment raised. "Then we cut it loose." The Eraser descended from the days, darkness folding around them like wings. "You believe you've found the heart of my power," they said softly, their voice now carrying something deeper, more ancient. "But you have only found a reflection of your own resolve. Power is not in threads or weapons. It is in surrender." The shadows surged in a storm, and the chamber became a battlefield. Platforms shattered and reformed in midair, forcing Jack and Mara to fight while leaping across an ever-shifting arena. Mara struck with her cane, summoning radiant shields that shattered tendrils before they could pierce Jack's defenses. Jack's blade moved like lightning, carving patterns of silver light through the darkness. Each strike ringing with the echoes of memories restored. Promithei's presence pulsed brighter within the shard. The voice no longer calm but resonant with raw energy. "Strike together. Alone you falter, but united you reshape the weave. Focus on the anchor." They advanced, step by grueling step, toward the pulsing core. The Eraser's form blurred, becoming a whirlwind of darkness, their mask glowing like a star as they unleashed waves of erasure so powerful the air itself fractured. Mara's shield flickered, nearly breaking under the pressure. But Jack planted himself before her, Fragment glowing brighter than ever. Its light piercing through the suffocating blackness. The Eraser paused. momentarily taken aback by the surge of power radiating from Jack. "What are you?" The voice hissed. Jack's eyes burned with silver light. "I'm everyone you tried to erase." He drove the fragment into the ground, sending a shockwave of light across the room. For a moment, the shadows recoiled, revealing the full lattice of golden threads that formed the passage, a cosmic tapestry connecting every soul, every memory, every moment. Mara channeled her energy through her cane, merging her power with Jack's. The fragment's silver light and Mara's azure energy fused. Cutting a path straight to the core, the eraser screamed, their form unraveling into streams of darkness. "You would destroy me. You would shatter the balance." Promithei's voice roared from the shard, more alive than ever. "We are not here to destroy. We are here to restore." The three forces, Jack's courage, Mara's wisdom, and Promithei's eternal presence, merged in a single strike. Light and shadow collided, the resulting shockwave tearing through the Citadel, breaking its obsidian walls and revealing the swirling cosmos beyond. For a heartbeat, time itself seemed to pause. The eraser's mask cracked, a single piece falling away to reveal not a monster, but a face calm, sorrowful, and utterly human. "You understand nothing," they whispered as their form dissolved into threads, vanishing into the passage. The Citadel shuddered violently, but instead of collapsing into ruin, it began to transform. The black stone melted into glass, the darkness receding, replaced by rivers of golden light that pulsed like veins. Jack dropped to his knees, exhausted, while Mara steadied him, breathing hard. The shard floated before them, Promithei's voice soft and warm. "The eraser is gone, but their shadow lingers. This was only one threshold. What lies beyond will demand even greater strength." Jack looked up at the glowing lattice above them, a network of memories stretching into infinity. "Then we keep walking," he whispered. "No matter how many thresholds there are, we won't stop." The passage pulsed in response, as if acknowledging his vow. The silence that followed the eraser's dissolution was deafening. The golden thread suspended in the air pulsed softly, as if breathing, while the shattered mask lay at Jack's feet, glowing faintly before dissolving into sparks. The oppressive darkness that had filled the chamber evaporated, replaced by a warmth that felt ancient, familiar, and deeply alive. Mara lowered her cane, its blue glow fading as she let out a long breath. "It's over." Promithei's voice echoed softly from the shard, resonating like a chime in a vast cathedral. "No, Mara. This battle is over. The war between remembrance and oblivion has only shifted." The Citadel groaned, but not with malice. It was as though the fortress itself was awakening. The obsidian walls melted into crystalline glass, revealing the endless weave of the passage beyond. The golden threads that once shimmered faintly now radiated like rivers of starlight, stretching in all directions. Jack staggered to his feet, his chest heaving. "Feels like it's alive," Jack murmured, staring at the shifting architecture. The floor beneath them transformed into a glowing bridge, each step they took lighting up with the soft hum of energy. Mara touched one of the threads as they walked forward. It pulsed gently, like a heartbeat. Alive, yes, and conscious. The Citadel wasn't just a fortress. It was a prison for memory. And now, her voice faltered as she gazed upward. "Now it's free." Promithei's shard drifted slightly ahead of them, its light intensifying. The eraser was once a guardian, not a destroyer. Their sorrow twisted into shadow, their duty corrupted by solitude. Erasure was never meant to erase, it was meant to preserve, to protect names too powerful to be spoken lightly. Jack stopped, brow furrowed. "So, they weren't a villain. Villains are rarely born as such," Promithei replied gently. "They are shaped, like you. Jack, like Mara, like me." The eraser's fall was a caution when burden turns into isolation. Purpose becomes distortion. The bridge extended into a vast chamber where the ceiling dissolved completely, revealing an infinite tapestry of light and darkness. Stars hung in clusters like jewels, connected by glowing filaments that pulsed with life. Below, rivers of energy coursed through canyons of crystal, carrying faint whispers of laughter, sorrow, and joy, the voices of those who had been saved. Jack approached the edge of the bridge, kneeling as he peered into the flowing river. Faces flickered in the current, glowing softly before fading back into the stream of memory. "They're all here," he whispered, awe in his voice. "Every name we saved. Every story the eraser erased." Mara knelt beside him, tears gathering in her eyes. "And every name we couldn't save." Her voice trembled, but not with despair, with reverence. "It's beautiful." And terrible, Promithei floated closer, its glow softening. That is the truth of memory. It carries joy and sorrow in equal measure. To remember is to carry both. A soft rumble drew their attention. The Citadel's walls shifted again, this time forming a grand archway ahead of them. Through it, they saw a corridor lined with pillars made of light and shadow, leading to a massive door that shimmered like liquid silver. Runes crawled across its surface like living creatures, rearranging themselves constantly, refusing to settle into a single form. Mara tightened her grip on her cane. Another threshold. Promithei's glow flickered as though hesitating. "Yes, but this one leads beyond the passage." Jack glanced at Mara, then at the glowing door. "Beyond. We just fought for our lives in this place, and now you're saying theirs." More Promithei's voice carried a note of solemnity. "You've crossed into the heart of remembrance, but memory alone is not existence. Beyond lies the realm of origins, the birthplace of every thread, every soul." The eraser was only a sentinel guarding the boundary. "What lies ahead is greater than any enemy you faced." Jack let out a sharp laugh, though there was no humor in it. "Great, so this was just level 1. Mara smirked faintly but said nothing, her gaze fixed on the silver door. Something about it pulled at her heart, like a melody she had once known but forgotten. She reached out, and the runes glowed brighter, forming intricate constellations that responded to her touch. "The door knows us," she whispered. "It's waiting." The Citadel shifted once more, but this time it felt like a bowed gesture of recognition rather than resistance. The air grew still, reverent, as though even the tapestry of stars above was watching. Jack stood beside Mara, gripping the fragment tighter. His hands still trembled from exhaustion, but his eyes burned with determination. "We've come this far. No turning back now." Promithei hovered before the door, light radiating outward in a soft halo. "Beyond this threshold, the world as you know it ceases. You will walk not through places, but through truths. Prepare yourselves, for the realm of origins does not hide its secrets gently." Mara's lips curved into a tired smile. "We'll manage. We've come this far, haven't we?" The runes aligned, and the silver surface of the door rippled like water. A low hum filled the chamber, growing louder until it matched the beat of their hearts. The archway pulsed once, and then the door began to open, flooding the room with light so intense that even the shadows bowed. Jack squinted, gripping Mara's arm instinctively. "Here we go." As the threshold opened fully, the world beyond was revealed. Not a hallway, not a battlefield, but an endless horizon of shifting constellations, rivers of light that bent like glass, and structures that seemed carved from pure thought. A realm without time, without direction, a realm where memory itself was born. They stepped forward together, leaving behind the citadel that had been their crucible. The door closed silently behind them, and the realm of origins welcomed them with a breath of eternal wind. Stepping through the silver door was like stepping out of existence itself. For a moment, Jack felt weightless, disoriented, as though every atom of his being was unraveling and being rewritten at the same time. The sensation was neither pain nor comfort, it was truth, raw and unfiltered, folding him inside out. He staggered, and Mara's hand found his arm. Steadying him, "Breathe," she whispered. Her voice like an anchor in the swirling storm of sensation. Jack inhaled sharply. The air here tasting strange, like starlight and old rain. He opened his eyes fully and gasped. The realm of origins stretched out before them like a living dream. There was no sky, no ground, no horizon. Instead, rivers of golden and silver light flowed in every direction, suspended in an endless void. Colossal structures floated above, and below them bridges of crystal and glass, towers woven from glowing threads, and doorways that opened into entire galaxies. Stars bent in slow, deliberate arcs, rearranging themselves as if aware of their presence. It's beautiful, Mara whispered, softening her features. But it doesn't feel empty. It feels awake. Promithei's shard floated between them, radiating a calm, steady light. Because it is awake. You are walking through thought-made substance. This is the birthplace of memory, the loom of existence itself. Jack tilted his head back, staring at a massive spiral of stars turning slowly above. Feels like it's looking at us. It is. Promithei's voice was both gentle and solemn. Every thread here is aware. The realm of origins has no passive watchers, only participants. Even now, it is judging you. Mara frowned but said nothing. She tightened her grip on her cane, its blue glow flickering like a candle in the wind. Her sharp eyes scanned the rivers of light that pulsed faintly beneath them, catching fleeting glimpses of faces, memories, and moments suspended in the current. Some were vibrant, glowing brilliantly, while others flickered weakly as though on the edge of fading forever. Jack crouched near one of the flowing threads, mesmerized. These are lives, aren't they? Yes. Promithei answered. Every choice ever made, every soul ever born, every story ever told begins here as threads. The eraser's corruption frayed many of these strands, severing their connection to the living. You've restored much, but the realm itself is wounded. Mara knelt beside Jack, her fingers hovering over one thread. It pulsed faintly at her presence, glowing brighter for a heartbeat before dimming again. It knows me. It knows all of us. Promithei replied softly. The realm is memory incarnate. You are remembered even as you live. To be here is to be fully known. Jack straightened, shivering. Not sure I like the sound of that. Mara glanced at him, her lips curling into a faint, wry smile. You'll get used to it, but even she looked uneasy. The vastness of the place, its sheer awareness, was enough to humble even the boldest heart. They began walking along a glowing bridge that extended from beneath the silver doorway. It pulsed faintly beneath their steps, like a living creature. Far in the distance, Jack could see a spire made entirely of gold and light, twisting upward like an infinite tree. Where are we going? Jack asked, his voice hushed as though afraid to disturb the realm's stillness. Promithei hovered ahead of them, glowing brighter as they moved forward. The Spire of Resonance. At its peak lies the Loom, the source from which all threads are spun. If there are answers to what is coming, we will find them there. What is coming? Jack repeated. I thought the eraser was the big threat. The shard dimmed slightly, and Promithei's voice took on a somber tone. The eraser was a sentinel, corrupted and lost. They were never meant to be your enemy, but your guardian. Now that they are gone, the boundaries they held are crumbling. Something far older and far more dangerous is stirring. Mara tightened her jaw. Something beyond even this place. Promithei hesitated. Something that has always been here. The bridge trembled beneath their feet, and they froze. Ahead of them, one of the glowing rivers twisted violently, sending shards of golden light scattering like broken glass. The current surged, glowing threads unraveling into wild arcs. Is that supposed to happen? Jack asked nervously, gripping the fragment. No, Promithei said, its glow brightening urgently. The realm is destabilizing. Something is feeding on its energy. The river of light erupted, forming a vortex in midair. Dark tendrils burst forth. Familiar yet different from the eraser's corruption, these shadows were older, deeper, laced with crimson sparks like burning embers. Mara raised her cane instinctively, summoning a shield of blue energy. Looks like we don't get much of a break. Jack stepped forward, the fragment glowing fiercely in his hand. Then let's finish what we started. The tendrils lashed toward them, splitting the bridge into fragments. Jack leapt forward, slicing through the nearest one, while Mara struck the ground, creating a dome of light that held back the swirling darkness. Promithei's shard rose high, radiating a wave of silver light that forced the tendrils to recoil, revealing a shadowy figure in the vortex's core. Its form was indistinct, constantly shifting, but its presence was undeniable. It was older than the eraser, older than the Citadel, older than the passage itself, a predator lurking within the fabric of creation, children of memory. The figure hissed, its voice like 1,000 whispers overlapping. You wander where you should not tread, Jack gritted his teeth. And you're exactly why we're here. The figure's laughter echoed through the void, shaking the rivers of light. Then cross the bridge, if you can. But know this, not all thresholds lead forward. Some only lead down. The shadowy figure in the vortex moved like smoke carried by a storm wind, tendrils of darkness writhing around it, each tipped with a crimson ember that pulsed like a dying star. Its voice rippled through the air, sinking deep into Jack's bones, a whisper that was neither entirely sound nor thought. You dare to hold the fragment, it murmured, its tone soft but venomous. A remnant of what should have been forgotten. Tell me, little sparks of mortality, do you even understand what you carry? Jack's grip tightened on the fragment. The glow from its surface flared in answer, silver light weaving through his fingers, pushing back the chill of the shadow's presence. I don't need to understand it, Jack said, his voice steadier than he felt. I just needed to stop you. The laughter that followed was like the sound of glass cracking underwater. Mara stepped closer to Jack, her staff raised, blue arcs of power radiating from her hands. We're not here for you, she said evenly. But if you stand in our way, we'll end you like we did the eraser. The vortex pulsed violently, sending waves of pressure through the fractured bridge. Chunks of crystal spun away into the void, leaving only a narrow path forward. The creature's form became sharper as it leaned toward them. The eraser was a child's guardian, a creation meant to maintain balance. I am no such thing. I'm what was cast away when balance was first conceived. I'm hunger given form. Promithei's shard brightened, its voice filling the air, calm yet commanding. This is not the Loom's servant. This is one of the old exiles, Mara. We are in more danger than I feared. Mara's brow furrowed. An exile. When the Loom first spun reality, it divided itself to create guardians, Promithei explained rapidly. But the first threads were flawed, raw, and full of instinct. They consumed instead of creating. The Loom bound them outside of time, but something has broken the seals. Let me guess, Jack said, his voice grim. That's our new friend here. The shadow's laughter returned, deeper now, shaking the bridge beneath their feet. You speak as if I am alone. Suddenly, the void rippled. The rivers of light that had been serene and beautiful moments before now surged violently, their colors bleeding into shadow. Faces appeared in the glowing streams, thousands, maybe millions, screaming silently as tendrils of crimson shadow pulled at them. Entire lives, memories, and stories flickered and dimmed, erased not by the precision of the eraser, but by something primal and ravenous. Jack's gut twisted. It's eating them, not eating, Mara corrected grimly, her eyes glowing with determination as she raised her staff. It's unmaking them. The exile's form coalesced further, taking a humanoid silhouette with long, spindly limbs and a crown of shifting horns made of darkness. To weave is to bind. To unmake is to free. I am freedom. Promithei's voice boomed like a bell. You are corruption. You are the rejection of harmony. Silver light radiated from the shard, forcing the shadow back. Jack leapt forward, fragment raised high, slashing through a tendril that lunged for Mara. The shadow hissed as the strike cut cleanly, leaving a trail of light behind. The fragment thrummed in Jack's hand, its power responding to his will more strongly than ever before. Jack. Mara shouted, thrusting her staff forward. A torrent of azure energy surged from her, striking the vortex directly. The exile roared, its voice a cacophony of overlapping screams, and retaliated with a wave of shadow that cracked the bridge even further. Jack stumbled but recovered quickly, his eyes narrowing. We can't hold this bridge. We need to push it back before the whole thing collapses. Strike together, Promithei commanded. Your connection to the fragment and Mara's resonance with the Loom's light are enough to wound it here. Mara's eyes flickered to Jack. On 3. Jack nodded, gripping the fragment tightly, feeling its hum match the beat of his own heart. 1. The exile lunged forward, shadows whipping violently. 2. Mara raised her staff high, her entire body glowing with blue fire. Threads of golden light from the rivers below weaving into her aura. 3. They shouted in unison. A beam of silver and blue light exploded from them, intertwining midair like a living spear, piercing straight through the heart of the exile's shadowy form. For a split second, the creature froze. The vortex shuddered violently, cracks of pure golden light tearing through its form like lightning. Its scream echoed through the realm, rattling the rivers of memory and making even the stars above flicker. You think you have won? The Exile hissed, its body fracturing into thousands of shards of shadow. You cannot unmake hunger. You cannot bind freedom with one last howl. It exploded into fragments of darkness which dissolved into the void, leaving only silence and the trembling bridge. Jack collapsed to one knee, breathing heavily. Mara steadied herself against her staff, her glow flickering but not fading. Is it dead? Jack asked between breaths, Promithei's light dimmed, contemplative. No, it is wounded and awake. The seals are breaking. Jack, the exiles are stirring. Jack clenched his fists. Then we'd better get to that loom before this whole place falls apart. They exchanged a look of grim determination, then stepped forward. The path ahead was cracked but still glowing, leading toward the distant spire of resonance, a beacon in a world that now seemed far more dangerous than they had imagined. They walked in silence, the echoes of the exile's scream lingering in the vast emptiness around them. Even the rivers of light below seemed dimmer, their golden and silver hues dulled as if in mourning. Jack's boots crunched softly on the crystalline surface of the bridge, every step reminding him how fragile their path was. Chasms yawned beneath them, deep and endless, and in the depths he thought he saw fleeting shadows twisting like smoke and water. Feels like it's watching us, Jack muttered, keeping his voice low as though afraid to disturb the silence. It is, Mara said, her cane glowing faintly. Her gaze swept the horizon where the spire of resonance rose, impossibly tall, like a pillar holding the fabric of the universe itself. It shimmered with golden light, threads flowing upward from the rivers and weaving around it in intricate, spiraling patterns. This place is alive. Every thread we see is part of something greater, and it's restless. Promithei's shard hovered ahead of them, its glow steady but quieter than usual. Restless is a kind word. The realm has felt the wound left by the exile's freedom. The loom senses its own unraveling. Jack rubbed the back of his neck, tension crawling through him like static. And we're walking straight into the middle of it. That is precisely why you were brought here. Promithei's voice was calm, but there was an edge to it, a heaviness Jack hadn't heard before. You two are more than intruders. You are now part of the realm's defense. It will has chosen you. Chosen. Jack scoffed. Great. Always wanted to be chosen by a sentient universe. Mara smirked slightly despite the gravity of their situation. You'll get used to it. They continued forward, the bridge curving gently as it carried them closer to the spire. The air shifted, though air was not the right word. Here, movement was not carried by wind but by memory itself, flowing like a tide. Whispers floated around them, fragments of voices long gone, laughter, sobs, words in forgotten languages. Jack slowed as one whisper called his name. He turned, scanning the glowing rivers below, and froze. There, shimmering faintly in the current, was his sister's face. Anna, he whispered, his throat tightening. The image flickered, smiling at him, and then vanished like a drop of water on hot stone. Jack, Mara's voice pulled him back. She stood nearby, her expression gentle but firm. Don't stop. This place will show you everything you've ever lost if you let it. That's part of its test. Jack swallowed hard and forced himself to keep walking. Feels cruel, not cruel, Mara said softly. Honest. Promithei floated closer, its glow dimming briefly. The realm reveals all that you carry within. It is not trying to harm you. It is measuring you. Measuring me for what? Jack asked. For the truth, Promithei replied. They reached a widening in the bridge, a platform shaped like a lotus, its petals made of translucent crystal that pulsed faintly beneath their feet. At its center, an archway of silver light flickered, threads of golden energy twisting around it like vines. This is a gate, Mara said, her tone reverent. I've read about these. Each one brings you closer to the loom, but only if it finds you worthy. Worthy, Jack muttered, looking up at the glowing arch. What's the test? Before Mara or Promithei could answer, the gate shimmered and the light around them shifted. The platform beneath their feet dissolved, and suddenly Jack was standing alone. Mara. Promithei. His voice echoed, but no one answered. He was in a field now, an endless meadow under a twilight sky. The air smelled of home, of rain-soaked earth and fresh bread. He heard a laugh, soft and familiar. Turning, he saw her again, Anna. She stood barefoot in the grass, wearing the same blue dress she had the day she disappeared. Her smile was warm, her eyes bright. "Jack," she said, her voice breaking him open like a flood. "You finally made it." He ran to her instinctively, heart pounding, and grabbed her hand. It was warm, real. "I thought I'd never see you again," he whispered. "You don't have to go any further," Anna said gently, cupping his face. "You've already done enough. Just stay here. We can be together again. No more fighting. No more pain." Tears blurred his vision. The offer felt like salvation, a promise of peace he had longed for every sleepless night. His heart screamed to stay, but deep inside, another voice rose, a steady whisper, Mara's words, "This place will show you everything you've ever lost. That's part of its test." Jack stepped back. "You're not her," Anna's smile faltered. Shadows flickered in her eyes. "Jack, don't you want to be happy? Don't you miss me?" "I do," he whispered. "Every day. But she's gone, and I can't bring her back by stopping here." The meadow flickered. Anna's face twisted into something hollow, and with a hiss, the vision shattered like glass. Jack was back on the platform, heart pounding, breath ragged. Mara stood nearby, watching him with a look of quiet pride. "You passed," she said simply. Jack nodded, wiping his face. "That sucked. Truth usually does," Mara replied softly. The gate pulsed, and the archway's glow deepened, a swirling vortex forming within. Promithei shard hovered closer, its light warm. "You are both worthy. Step through. The spire awaits." Jack exchanged a glance with Mara, and together they stepped into the gate, the platform vanishing behind them. The moment Jack and Mara stepped through the silver archway, the world shifted beneath their feet. The bridge and the rivers of light behind them vanished, leaving them suspended in an infinite void where distance had no meaning. Around them, spirals of golden and silver threads rotated slowly, threading through space like the DNA of the universe itself. The air, if it could be called air, vibrated with a low hum, resonating with every memory they had ever carried. "Where are we?" Jack whispered, gripping the fragment tighter. The weight of the artifact pulsed against his palm, as if urging him onward. "Inside the spire," Promithei said, its voice calm but tinged with awe. "The spire of resonance is no place for the faint of heart. Here, every step is both literal and metaphorical. Every choice you make, every doubt, every memory, it will echo in this space, forming obstacles and guides alike." Mara studied the twisting threads, her cane glowing faintly. "It's alive, not like before. The realm of origins reacts to us now, not just observing, it's testing us." Before Jack could respond, the threads shifted, coiling into shapes that mirrored their fears and regrets. Shadows from the Exile flickered at the edges, faint but menacing, while faces from their pasts glimmered in the golden light, whispering temptations. Jack saw his sister again, smiling and reaching for him. Mara glimpsed fleeting visions of those she had failed to save in her early experiments with magic. "Focus," Promithei's voice urged. "The spire thrives on distraction. Your hearts will be tempted, your resolve weighed. Do not falter." The first test appeared. A bridge of light stretched ahead, anchored to nothing, twisting in impossible angles. Below, the void yawned endlessly. As they stepped forward, threads coiled up like serpents, forming barriers, traps, and shifting walls. Every misstep caused the bridge to wobble, as if the spire itself was alive. Judging their balance, physical, mental, and spiritual, Jack took the lead, swinging the fragment to cut through threads that threatened to entangle them. Each strike illuminated a path, revealing fragments of erased lives and moments. He felt their weight, the stolen joys, the forgotten sorrows, and the fragment thrummed in response. Releasing a pulse of warmth through him, Mara's cane radiated blue energy, dissolving illusions and stabilizing the unstable ground. "We need to move in sync," she called. "The spire reacts to doubt. If we hesitate, it will trap us forever. They advanced step by step as the air shimmered and the void rippled. At the center of each spiral, a pulse of golden light erupted, forming a massive eye and observer of their progress. Every glance felt like judgment. Every thread they touched resonated with memory. The Spire will not only test strength, Promithei warned. It will test clarity. It will show you who you are when all else is stripped away. Jack swallowed, remembering his sister's vision, his fear of failure, the weight of every erased life. He pressed forward, fragment in hand, cutting threads with deliberate strokes. Mara mirrored him, their steps perfectly synchronized, forming a rhythm that the Spire could not disrupt. A massive spiral formed ahead, its apex disappearing into infinite light. The threads converged, creating a vortex that pulled at their very essence. Shadows surged, whispering failures, insecurities, and regrets, their voices overlapping in a cacophony of temptation. Jack's heart pounded. I can't fail. Not now. Not here. Mara's voice broke through the storm. We're together. Remember that. Always. The vortex pulsed violently as they stepped in unison, fragment and staff striking a coordinated pulse of silver and blue light into the threads. The golden spirals reacted, bending and stabilizing, forming a stable path upward. Promithei's shard glowed brighter than ever. You are advancing, but the Spire of Resonance will not yield its heart easily. Beyond this path lies the core of the Loom itself. What awaits there will challenge not only your skill, but your very understanding of memory, choice, and existence. The path ahead narrowed into a single spiraling column of light, winding infinitely upward. Each step echoed through the void, every heartbeat synchronized with the hum of the Spire. Jack exhaled sharply, looking at Mara. Ready? Mara nodded, blue energy coursing along her cane. Always. Together, they stepped onto the ascending spiral, threads of memory and light wrapping around them like a cocoon. The next stage of the Spire awaited, a realm where past, present, and possibility would collide in a trial unlike any they had faced. And as they climbed, the golden eye pulsed once, watching, recording, judging, and awaiting their next move.